The Galactic Council had gathered on Meridian 7 for what they believed would be a final treaty negotiation. For 3 years, the crystalline beings of ZYX-9 had refused peaceful diplomacy, their sonic weapons destroying 17 colonial stations. The Council's patience had worn thin, and military intervention seemed inevitable. Dr. James Chen sat in the observation deck of the diplomatic vessel, watching the alien landscape below. He was humanity's sole representative at this crucial meeting, not because humanity held any political weight in the galaxy, but because they were desperate to prove themselves as something other than the violent Deathworlders everyone feared. His species had earned its brutal reputation through centuries of wars, competitions, and survival against Earth's harshest conditions. Now, they were trying to change that narrative. The ZYX-9 delegation arrived in their crystalline forms, towering structures of living glass that hummed with an unsettling frequency. Their representative, Ambassador Krell, spoke with waves of harmonic vibrations that the translation matrix converted to cold, menacing words. "Your species has nothing we want," Krell declared, his form scattering light across the chamber. "You are fragile. Weak. Irrelevant." The council members exchanged nervous glances. War seemed inevitable. But James stood up, surprising everyone in the room. His advisors frantically signaled him to sit down, but he had something to try. "Give me 1 hour," he said quietly. "Before you decide on war." Krell's form rippled with what might have been amusement. "A human wants to address the ZYX-9? This will be entertaining." James requested to address them directly, and to everyone's confusion, he was granted permission. He was escorted to a neutral platform, equipped with a translation device that would broadcast his voice across the entire ZYX-9 network, reaching not just the diplomats, but the entire population. He closed his eyes and began to sing. It wasn't a declaration of human superiority. It wasn't a threat or a boast. It was something far simpler and far more powerful, a lullaby. His mother had sung it to him as a child, a melody passed down through generations of humans on a violent world where such gentle moments were sacred precisely because they were rare. The melody was simple, repetitive, and deeply soothing. But James didn't just sing it, he sang it with the desperation of a human who had grown up under predators, with the tenderness of a species that had learned to cherish peace in the brief moments they found it, with the hope of someone trying to bridge impossible divides. The translation matrix struggled to convert the song into harmonic frequencies the ZYX-9 could understand. But something miraculous happened in that struggle. The song changed, evolved, began to resonate with the crystalline beings in ways that no spoken language could. The first crystal to still was Ambassador Krell. His harsh humming ceased. His form, usually sharp and aggressive, began to soften. Then another. And another. James continued singing, pouring into the melody everything humans had learned about survival, loss, hope, and the fierce, protective love that came from raising children on a world that wanted to kill you. He sang about the day his daughter was born, about how terrified and awed he had felt. He sang about his grandmother's hands as she braided his sister's hair. He sang about watching sunsets on Earth, about music being perhaps humanity's greatest invention. Across ZYX-9, the population stilled. Millions of crystalline beings, each one a warrior, each one hardened by eons of survival, found themselves paralyzed by something they had never experienced before, genuine peace transmitted through song. By the time James finished, the entire planet was silent. Not from control or force, but from the profound calm that had washed over them. Ambassador Krell's form remained soft, pulsing gently in the darkness. The treaty was signed within the hour. The Galactic Council later classified the incident as the most successful diplomatic intervention in recorded history. But the scientists who studied it could never fully explain why the ZYX-9, a species that valued strength above all else, had surrendered to a human song. They never understood that sometimes, the greatest strength is the tenderness that survives despite everything. Sometimes, a lullaby is worth more than weapons. And sometimes, a Deathworlder's greatest weapon is knowing how to give peace. Kindly like and subscribe channel. Thank you.